The distress call drifted across the dark gulf between stars like a fading echo of a civilization on the brink. It carried the trembling signature of a world that knew its strength was gone. It carried the quiet desperation of a species that had once believed itself safe. It carried the final plea of the Talari people, who now understood that safety was a story they had told themselves until the universe corrected them. The invaders were known only as the Garen. They swept across the edge of Talari space with a cold precision that seemed forged in some silent foundry of cruelty. Their fleets blocked starlight. Their soldiers moved with the confidence of a force that had crushed hundreds of worlds before. The Talari had no legends of resistance strong enough to face such a tide. Their leaders gathered in the tower hall. Their voices held the tremor of disbelief. Their hopes dimmed. Their defenses flickered. Their families prayed. Their sky burned. They had nowhere to run. Their call for help crossed the void in a final act of instinct rather than strategy. They did not expect an answer, but no one answered Talari pleas. Their world had no major alliances. Their world was not a trusted ally of any great military power. Their world had been built on peaceful exchange. That peace shattered the moment the Garen arrived, yet an answer came. It arrived not with the clean formality of diplomatic protocol, but with a low crackle of a signal that seemed ancient compared to modern systems. It bore no crest. It bore no political seal. It bore only 8 words encoded in a language the Talari translation system struggled to understand. Human expedition incoming. Hold your ground if possible. The tower hall fell silent. Humans, rumors, stories, fragmented accounts. They were a species classified as Deathworlders by the Galactic Council long before Talari. Civilizations had learned to harness their first fusion engines. No one approached them except the desperate or the unwise. Their world was a cradle of storms. Their bodies were shaped by danger. Their minds were rumored to be built around refusal to surrender. The Talari had never met one. Now they had called them, and the humans had answered. The first human vessel appeared, in orbit without ceremony. It did not glide in with graceful arcs like Talari cruisers. It arrived with a silent flash, as if it had forced space aside. Its hull was dark silver. Its sides bore no markings, except a small insignia shaped like a shield. The Talari scanned it. Their systems labeled it impossible. Its armor density exceeded expected limits. Its energy signature suggested power that should have torn the craft apart. The tower hall watched through a planetary feed. Its leaders exchanged worried glances. Perhaps calling humans had been their final mistake. But when the first human transmission came through, the voice was calm and steady. It belonged to a man who introduced himself simply as Commander Reed. His tone held no arrogance. His words held no panic. He spoke like someone who had seen war so many times that fear had become only one more tool, not a master. Talari scientists whispered about his appearance. They noted the hard lines in his face that spoke of a life shaped by harsh elements. They noted the confident movements that belonged to someone who had overcome more than natural threats. Humans had not evolved in soft places. The universe had not coddled them. Commander Reed asked for information. He asked for access to maps. He asked for nothing that suggested weakness. He listened. He processed. He acted. The human fleet emerged from the darkness over the next hour. They came in vessels shaped for function rather than beauty. Carriers, tactical cruisers, dropships. Their arrival changed the sky from a symbol of despair to a tapestry of hope. The Talari had never seen such things. The Garen noticed immediately. Their ships adjusted formation. Their energy arrays warmed. Their leaders laughed at the idea that a handful of human vessels could change the outcome of the war. The Garen had conquered empires. They had no reason to hesitate now. They launched their first assault within minutes. The first clash of the battle was brutal. Talari defenses crumbled. Human ships held position. The Garen expected them to flee. They had miscalculated. The humans did not move aside. They did not scatter. They did not break. Their ships interlocked in a defensive pattern that radiated a level of discipline the Talari could not fully understand. The Talari held their breath. The Garen fired. The humans answered. The sky erupted. Human vessels released. Bursts of kinetic projectiles that traveled faster than the Talari systems could measure. The projectiles struck Garen armor with thunderous force that shook the air even from orbit. Shrapnel glowed. Fire spiraled. Garen cruisers broke apart. Their formation wavered. Reed spoke 3 words through an open channel. Push them back. Talari. Officers watched in stunned silence. They had assumed humans would rely on energy weapons. Instead, the humans used kinetic force, as if daring the universe to complain. Their ships moved with the calculated aggression of predators defending territory. Each motion was deliberate. Each strike was controlled. For the first time since the invasion began, the Garen hesitated. But hesitation was not enough. The Garen had numbers. They had resources. They had ships that stretched across the horizon. Their reinforcements arrived in waves. The sky darkened again. Human ships adjusted formation. Reed spoke calmly. His crew responded immediately. The battle dragged into the night. The Talari watched. Their fear turned into awe. Humans fought without despair. They did not retreat. They did not crumble. They adapted. They countered. They pressed forward with a relentless resolve that felt alien, even to the Talari. When the Garen attempted a concentrated strike on the Talari capital, the humans intercepted. Their dropships cut through atmosphere like falling stars. A squad of human soldiers landed in the heart of the city before the Garen forces could reach the civilians. Their appearance shocked the Talari public. The soldiers wore armor that seemed alive with faint shifting light. Their weapons were compact. Their movements were efficient. They spoke to each other with calm voices, as if the burning city around them was merely a change in weather. One soldier stood out. His name was Mark. He was large even for a human. His armor carried scars from battles across 6 worlds. Mark moved with a quiet confidence that came from surviving more disasters than the Talari had recorded in their entire history. The Talari citizens followed his commands, even though they did not understand how one person could stay so steady in such chaos. When a Garen mech broke through a wall of a damaged building, its metal jaws glowing with charged plasma, the Talari screamed. Mark did not. He charged the mech with a force that seemed impossible. His weapon discharged a pulse that knocked the mech back. He moved again. He struck with precision. The mech collapsed in a shower of sparks. The Talari stared at him as if he had stepped out of some myth written for a different world. Mark simply said that the civilians should move to shelter. His voice was steady, his expression calm. The Talari realized something then. Humans were terrifying, not because they were cruel. They were terrifying because nothing terrified them. Meanwhile, in space, the battle grew. Reed coordinated the fleet with a focus so intense that even his officers seemed to draw strength from it. Every maneuver was bold. Every decision carried weight. Every strike echoed across the void. But the Garen had one more weapon. Dreadnought. It appeared in orbit like a floating mountain. Its cannons glowed. Its shadow covered the planet. The Talari gasped. Human sensors screamed warnings. Even Reed paused. The dreadnought could end the planet in a single strike. No fleet had ever survived an encounter with such a monster. the Garen commander broadcast a message. He mocked the humans. He mocked the Talari. He claimed victory. He declared their resistance meaningless. Reed did not argue. He simply said that surrender was not an option. Then he ordered the fleet forward. The clash between the human fleet and the dreadnought was a storm of fire and metal. Human ships took damage. Some were destroyed. Yet the line held. Reed pushed them closer. He pushed them into the dreadnought's shadow. Talari watchers trembled as the human fleet moved like a pack of predators, surrounding a beast far larger than themselves. Reed had a final plan. He ordered Mark's ground squad to activate a device that linked with the fleet targeting array. The Talari scientists recognized the device as an amplifier. It created a beam of focused signal that painted a target on the dreadnought hull's weakest point. The dreadnought realized too late. Human ships fired. Coordinated strike. The blast hit the point of weakness. The dreadnought's shields flared. Its plates cracked. Its core destabilized. A final burst of light tore across the sky. The dreadnought died. The shockwave rippled through the Garen fleet. Their formation shattered. Their commanders panicked. Their lines broke. Many fled into the void in terrified silence. The Talari world watched the sky. Clear. The humans had saved them. Reed contacted the tower hall. His words were simple. He said the Garen would not trouble them again. He said the fleet would remain for repairs. He said the Talari needed time to rebuild. There was no arrogance in his tone, only resolve. The Talari leaders bowed their heads. They thanked him. They thanked his soldiers. They thanked humanity. Mark and his squad stood among Talari civilians as they cheered. Children approached them. Adults greeted them. The Talari saw warriors built by storms, but shaped by compassion. Later that night, the Talari recorded their official accounts. They